Commander June Park stood at the large window of the space station, looking at the blue planet below. Earth seemed so peaceful from up here. He didn't want to tell the people back home about the Galactic Council's decision, but they needed to. Sir, the council session has ended, said Hana Kim, his assistant. Her face was pale. They've made their final vote. June nodded slowly. He had been in the chamber when the votes were counted. Earth, facing a massive asteroid cluster that would hit in 6 months, had asked for help from the other 53 species in the council. The vote wasn't even close. Get me a secure line to President Han, he said quietly. While Hana set up the call, June watched an alien ship leave the station. It was filled with Zeta representatives who had been living on Earth as part of the cultural exchange program. They were leaving early. Everyone was leaving Earth early. The large screen on the wall came to life, showing President Suho Han's tired face. Tell me some good news, Commander, said the President. I wish I could, sir. The Council has voted. They won't help us with the asteroid cluster. The President closed his eyes for a moment. I see. And their reason? Officially, they say the resources needed to save Earth would put too much strain on the shared defense systems. Unofficially, June paused. They think we're not worth saving. They see us as too primitive, too violent. After everything we've done to join them, 3 years of following their rules, sharing our resources. The President's voice was angry now. It gets worse, sir. They're pulling all their people and technology from Earth. The Zetas are already gone. The Centaurians leave tomorrow. Cowards, whispered the President. Do any of them stand with us? The Pleiadians voted to help, but they're just one species. Their ambassador sends her regrets. President Han straightened in his chair. Then we stand alone, as we have before. Thank you, Commander. Return to Earth as soon as possible. We'll need every good mind working on this problem. When the call ended, June found Tae Lee, Earth's chief diplomat, gathering his things from his office. They've revoked our council membership, Tae said without looking up. We have 48 hours to leave the station. June wasn't surprised. They want us gone before we cause a scene. I spent 15 years studying alien languages to get this job, Tae said, his voice bitter. I really thought we had found our place among the stars. Later that day, June called all 23 human staff members to the Earth Embassy for one last meeting. Some were crying, others looked angry, and a few seemed in shock. I won't lie to you, June said. The situation is bad. The asteroid cluster will hit Earth in 6 months. Billions could die. But we still have a chance if we work together. The ships leave for Earth tomorrow at 0800. Go pack your things. As they filed out, Mina Kang, their science officer, stayed behind. She had been oddly quiet during the meeting. I might have something, she said, placing a small data chip on the table. I've been collecting information on Council defense technology. It's not complete, but that's against Council law, June interrupted, though he made no move to stop her. They broke their treaty with us first, Mina replied. Besides, I'm not stealing their technology. I'm just taking notes on how it works. We can build our own. June picked up the chip. How much time would we need? With the whole planet working together. Maybe 6 months, it will be close. The next morning, as the Earth ships prepared to leave, a small alien approached June. It was Lani, the Pleiadian ambassador. I cannot offer ships or weapons, she said in her musical voice. But I have these. She handed him a set of data crystals. Science files. They might help. Thank you, June said, truly grateful. But why risk helping us when your government voted against it? Lani's large eyes blinked slowly. The Council is wrong about humans. I have lived among you. You are young, yes, sometimes frightening, but also kind and creative. The stars would be less bright without your species. As the Earth ships pulled away from the station, June looked out at the vast blackness of space. He felt a strange mix of abandonment and determination. They think this is the end for us, he said to Hana, who sat beside him. But they don't know humans very well. Back on Earth, the news of the Council's decision spread quickly. There was panic in some places, but also a fierce unity that surprised even June. At the emergency meeting in Seoul, scientists from every nation gathered to share ideas. Old enemies sat side by side, working on solutions. The alien technology data was sent to research teams around the world. "We have 6 months to save our planet," President Han told the crowded room. "The Galactic Council has abandoned us. They think we're too weak to survive. Let's prove them wrong." As June looked around at the determined faces, he felt a strange sense of pride. Abandoned by the stars, humans were coming together as never before. The Galactic Council had made a mistake. They had given humanity something powerful, a common enemy and a common purpose. And someday, June promised himself, they would return to the stars. Not as the abandoned, but as the survivors. The sky turned strange colors as the first small asteroids entered Earth's atmosphere. From the underground command center in Seoul, President Suho Han watched the global defense network come to life on the large screens. 5 months of non-stop work had led to this moment. "First asteroid approaching target zone," reported Director Mina Kang, her voice steady despite not having slept for nearly 2 days. "Missile launch in 3, 2, 1. On the screen, bright flashes appeared in the upper atmosphere. The experimental missiles, built using the stolen alien plans, streaked toward the incoming space rock. "Impact successful," called out a technician. "Asteroid breaking apart." But this was just the beginning. The main cluster was still coming. President Han turned to General June Park, who had returned from the Galactic Council station to lead Earth's defense efforts. "Will it be enough?" the president asked quietly. June looked at the data streaming across his tablet. "Honestly, I don't know, but we've done more in 5 months than I thought possible. Around the world, humans had prepared in ways that would have seemed impossible before. Old enemies worked together, sharing resources and technology. Underground shelters had been dug deep beneath major cities. Underwater habitats had been built in record time. Food supplies had been stored in protected vaults. And most importantly, the defense system was ready. Using the Pleiadian data crystals and Mina's stolen council technology information, Earth scientists had created something new, a network of powerful missiles and energy weapons placed on every continent. "Incoming!" shouted Mina. "Main cluster approaching." The room fell silent as the largest objects appeared on the tracking screens. "All stations, fire on my mark," June ordered, his finger hovering over the launch button. 3, 2, 1, mark. Around the world, the defense network activated. Missiles launched from silos, ships, and mountain bases. The experimental energy weapons, built in just 4 months, fired blue beams into the sky. The room erupted in cheers as the first large asteroid broke apart, then the second. But there were too many coming too fast. "Brace for impacts," June warned. "Alert all shelters." The first asteroid hit in the Pacific Ocean, creating a massive wave that crashed into coastlines. The second hit Siberia, shaking the Earth. More followed, striking Africa, South America, and the Atlantic. In the command center, the lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling as the ground shook. "Stay at your stations," June ordered as some people started to panic. For 2 days, the impacts continued. Communication with some regions was lost. The command center, buried deep underground, survived, but no one knew how much of the world above still existed. On the 3rd day, when the last of the asteroids had either been destroyed or had hit Earth, June finally allowed himself to rest. He sat in a quiet corner, his head in his hands. Hana Kim found him there. She had been working in communications, trying to contact survivors around the world. "You should see this," she said, offering him her tablet. June looked at the screen. It showed people emerging from a shelter in Australia, then another video from Brazil, then Egypt. Reports were coming in from all over the world. There were survivors. Lots of them. "The underwater Tokyo habitat is intact," Hana said, her voice growing excited. "The African underground farm domes held. We're getting signals from every continent." June felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Casualties?" Hana's smile faded a bit. "Many, millions probably, but not billions, not extinction." Later that day, President Han addressed the survivors through the emergency broadcast system. His face was tired but determined. "Today, we begin again," he said. "The Galactic Council abandoned us to die. But we have survived. Now we rebuild." And one day we will return to the stars. 6 weeks after the impacts, June visited one of the hardest-hit areas in what had once been central China. The landscape was changed. New lakes had formed, mountains had been flattened, but already humans were adapting. He watched as a group of engineers tested a new water purification system built from parts salvaged from the ruins. Nearby, others were planting special fast-growing crops developed for the post-impact environment. "It's amazing," said Dr. Jin Choi, who had come with him to assess the recovery efforts. "We've lost so much, but we're not beaten." "Look at this," Jin said, showing June a device he had been working on. "We've improved the alien energy technology. Our version is 30% more efficient than what was in the Pleiadian data." "Can we use it for rebuilding?" June asked. Jin nodded. "For that, yes, and eventually for ships." June looked up sharply. "Ships?" "Spaceships," Jin clarified. "I'm not the only one thinking about this. Scientists all over the world are not just rebuilding what we had, we're planning for more. The alien technology we adapted gave us new ideas." That night, as June flew back to Seoul in a transport craft, he looked down at the changed Earth below. There were dark areas where cities had been destroyed, but also lights where new settlements were growing. Humans had not just survived. They were already thriving again. They were building something new from the ashes, and they were looking to the stars with new purpose. The Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake when they abandoned Earth. They thought they were sentencing humanity to death. Instead, they had created something stronger, more determined, and more unified than ever before, and one day the Council would learn just how big a mistake that had been. 5 years after the asteroid strikes, Earth looked very different. New. Cities had risen from the ruins of the old ones. Some were built underground, others under the sea, and some reached high into the sky. Dr. Jin Choi stood on the observation deck of the New Seoul Space Center, watching workers prepare the massive ship below. The vessel, named Horizon, gleamed in the morning sun. It was the first of its kind, a ship built by humans that could travel faster than light. "Impressive, isn't it?" said Admiral Dae-song as he joined Jin at the window. The Admiral wore the new uniform of Earth's United Space Force, dark blue with silver trim. "Hard to believe we built it in just 3 years," Jin replied. He had led the team that designed the ship's engines, based on the alien technology left behind. The aliens had not meant to leave anything useful when they abandoned Earth, but in their rush to evacuate, some technology had been left behind. Engineers had taken these pieces apart, studied them, and then improved upon them. "The Council thinks we're dead," Dae said, looking at the ship with pride, "or at least still living in caves." Jin nodded. After the impacts, all communication with the Galactic Council had stopped. No alien ships had returned to check on Earth. The humans had been abandoned and forgotten, but they had not stayed down. "How many colonies do we have now?" Jin asked, though he knew the answer. 3 functioning ones, Dae replied. "The one on Mars, of course. Then the mining colony on Europa, and now the new settlement on Proxima Centauri b." Jin smiled. Proxima. Centauri was the nearest star to Earth's sun, just over 4 light-years away. Before the asteroid strikes, reaching it would have seemed impossible. Now, with the new engines, the journey took only 3 weeks. "And the Council has no idea," Jin said. "It wasn't a question. None. We've been careful to avoid their usual travel routes. Our ships are shielded from their detection systems. As far as they know, humans are extinct or barely surviving on what's left of Earth." Below them, technicians were loading the final supplies onto the Horizon. The ship would leave the next day for Proxima Centauri, carrying more settlers and equipment. "Time for the test," Jin said, checking his watch. They moved to a control room where a team of scientists waited. In the center of the room sat what looked like a small engine, connected to various measuring devices. "This is the prototype for the next-generation drive," Jin explained to the Admiral. "Twice as fast as what we have on the Horizon, and uses 30% less fuel." One of the scientists activated the engine. It hummed quietly, glowing with a soft blue light that gradually became brighter. "The Council's drives produce a lot of heat and noise," Jin continued. "Ours is nearly silent. Perfect for, well, not being noticed." Admiral Zhou understood what Jin wasn't saying. Earth was rebuilding, but also preparing. The memory of abandonment was still fresh. Humans were expanding into space, but carefully, quietly, until they were ready to reveal themselves. Later that day, Jin visited one of the underground cities. New Busan stretched for miles beneath the surface, home to nearly 1 million people. The artificial sunlight made it feel like a summer day, though outside a winter storm raged. Jin had a meeting with the Science Council in a building made from a new type of material, stronger than steel but light as plastic, another innovation. Born from studying alien technology, the farm domes are producing at 120% of expected capacity, reported Dr. Mi-sun Yoon, head of agricultural sciences. The new crops need less water and grow faster than traditional varieties. And what about the medical advances? Asked Jin. The healing chambers are working perfectly, replied Dr. Su Kim. Recovery times are down by half. The alien medical technology we adapted has changed everything. Jin looked around the table. These scientists and others like them around the world had taken what little the aliens had left behind and created something better, something uniquely human. After the meeting, Jin took a shuttle to what had once been the coast before the asteroid strikes changed the shoreline. There a new kind of city had grown, one that floated on the water, rising and falling with the tides. These floating cities had solved the housing problems created when millions lost their homes in the impacts. They were also perfect training grounds for the space colonies, as they had to be self-sufficient and manage their own resources. Jin's sister, Yoon Choi, met him at the dock. She was the mayor of this floating city. Our population just passed 250,000, she told him proudly as they walked through the central plaza. We had to add another floating section last month. Any problems? Jin asked. Nothing we can't handle, Yoon replied. That's what humans do best now, handle problems. That evening, as Jin prepared to return to the space center, he stood at the edge of the floating city and looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there were the aliens who had decided that humans weren't worth saving. They had no idea what was coming. In just 5 years, humanity had not only survived, but had begun to expand beyond their own solar system. They had taken alien technology and improved it. They had built cities where none should be able to exist. They had united as never before, and they were doing it all quietly, under the radar of the Galactic Council. One day, when they were ready, humans would reveal themselves to the species that had abandoned them. Jin smiled at the thought. That would be quite a surprise. Captain Yuna Park sat in the command chair of her ship, watching the screens carefully. The colony on Proxima Centauri B had been operating for 2 years now, and everything was going well. The settlement of New Earth was home to 10,000 people, with more arriving each month. Today, however, something was different. The sensors had picked up an unknown ship entering the system. Can you identify it? Yuna asked her second-in-command, Officer J. Lee. J. checked the readings. It's a Galactic Council vessel. Looks like an exploration ship. The room went quiet. For 7 years, humans had been expanding into space without being noticed. They had built colonies on Mars, Europa, and now Proxima Centauri B. They had improved upon alien technology and created their own advanced ships, and they had done it all in secret until now. Are they scanning us? Yuna asked. Yes, Captain. They've definitely seen the colony. Yuna thought quickly. Running would only make them look guilty. Fighting was not an option, at least not yet. Earth's fleet was growing stronger each day, but they weren't ready for a conflict with the entire Galactic Council. Open a channel, she ordered. Let's see what they want. The main screen lit up, showing the face of a reptilian alien. Captain Yuna recognized the species, a draconian, one of the most powerful members of the Council. This is Commander Sark, of the Galactic Council Exploration Vessel Seeker, the alien said. His voice was translated by the computer. Identify yourselves immediately. Yuna stood tall. This is Captain Yuna Park of the Earth colony New Earth. Welcome to Proxima Centauri, the Phi. Alien's cold eyes widened. Earth? Impossible. Earth was destroyed by asteroid impact 7 years ago. Not quite, Yuna replied calmly. We survived, and as you can see, we've been busy. The Draconian turned to speak to someone off-screen, clearly surprised by this discovery. When he turned back, His expression was suspicious. "We will send a team to your colony for inspection," he stated. It wasn't a request, Una nodded. "You're welcome to visit. We'll prepare a landing area for your shuttle." After the communication ended, Jay looked worried. "Captain, should we alert Earth? The Council finding us changes everything." "Message has already been sent," Una confirmed. "But for now, we'll be good hosts. Show them what we've built here. Just keep them away from the new technology sections." The Draconian inspection team arrived an hour later. Commander Sark led the group, looking around with obvious shock at the thriving human colony. New Earth had tall buildings, green parks, and busy streets filled with people going about their day. "You've built all this in just 7 years?" Sark asked, as Una led them on a tour. "We had to adapt quickly after the asteroid strikes," she replied. "When the Council abandoned us, we learned to depend on ourselves." The alien flinched slightly at her words. "The Council made a decision based on the information available at the time." Una didn't argue. The point had been made. As the tour continued, one of the Draconians slipped away from the group, but security cameras tracked his movements, and colony security followed him discreetly. The alien was trying to access restricted areas where the newest human technologies were being developed. Back on Earth, Intelligence Director Junho Kwon received the alert from Proxima Centauri. He immediately called an emergency meeting with the Earth Defense Council. "It has happened," he told the assembled leaders. "A council ship has discovered our colony at Proxima Centauri." Prime Minister Yoon Bae, who had led Earth's unified government for the past 5 years, remained calm. "We knew this day would come. Are our systems in place?" "Yes, Prime Minister," Junho confirmed. "We've been monitoring council communications for years. Our network is active throughout their territory. They don't realize that the technology they abandoned on Earth gave us the key to their communication systems." "And the infiltration attempts?" asked General June Park, who had become the head of Earth's military after leading the asteroid defense. "They've sent 12 ships to scout our solar system in the past week," Junho replied. "We've detected 9 spy drones trying to penetrate Earth's defenses, all captured without alerting them." On the screen, they could see live footage from New Earth showing the Draconian inspection team. The alien who had tried to sneak away was now back with the group, unaware that his actions had been observed. "They'll report back to the Council," Prime Minister Yoon said, "and then they'll decide what to do about us. They'll see us as a threat," June predicted. "They abandoned us to die. Finding us not only alive but thriving will frighten them." "Good," said Yoon firmly. "They should be frightened. Not because we want war, but because they need to understand that humanity is not to be underestimated again." Back on New Earth, the inspection was ending. Commander Sark stood at the shuttle door, preparing to leave. "You've built something impressive here," he admitted to Captain Una. "But the Council will have questions." "And we'll have answers," Una replied, "and questions of our own." As the alien shuttle lifted off, Una received a message from Earth. It contained just 4 words: "Operation Revelation is active." She smiled, knowing what that meant. For 7 years, humanity had prepared in secret, building strength, developing technology, and establishing colonies. They had known this moment would come eventually. The Galactic Council was about to discover that the species they had abandoned was now a force to be reckoned with. And humans had no intention of being overlooked ever again. The Earth fleet appeared in the space above Galactia, the Galactic Council's central station. 100 ships materialized seemingly out of nowhere, their engines glowing with a blue light that no other species had developed. Earth's vessels were sleek and powerful, a mix of human design and improved alien technology. On the command ship, Supreme Commander Ji Woo Chung stood calmly, looking at the massive space station on the view screen. 7 years had passed since the Council had abandoned Earth. 7 years of rebuilding, learning, and preparing. Now it was time for the reckoning. "They're hailing us, Commander," reported Communications Officer Sang Lee. "The Council is demanding to know our intentions." "Put them on screen," Jiwoo ordered. The face of the Council leader, a blue-skinned being named Zorith, appeared. His large eyes showed concern, but also anger. "This is a violation of Council space," Zorith said. "Identify yourselves immediately." This is Supreme Commander Jiwoo Chung of the United Earth Fleet, Jiwoo replied evenly. We request an immediate session with the full Galactic Council. There was a pause as Zoreth considered this. The appearance of 100 unknown ships would normally be treated as an act of war. But the council leader was no fool. These ships had appeared without warning, using technology the council didn't understand. You may send a delegation of 5 representatives, Zoreth finally said. Your ships must remain in their current position. Jiwoo nodded. Agreed. We will arrive in 1 hour. When the screen went dark, Jiwoo turned to his team. Ambassador Su Yun, Chief Science Officer, Min Park, Security Director Bei Jun, and General Quan Do will accompany me. The rest of you keep the fleet ready. If we don't return in 3 hours, you know what to do. 1 hour later, Jiwoo and his team stood in the center of the council chamber. 53 alien species were represented, sitting in rising semicircle. Seats around them. Many looked nervous, some looked angry, a few seemed curious. Humans, Council Leader Zoreth began. You stand before us as an unregistered spacefaring species. Your presence here is... We were registered, Jiwoo interrupted. 7 years ago, before you voted to abandon us to die. A murmur ran through the chamber. Many of the representatives shifted uncomfortably. That unfortunate situation was handled according to council protocols, Zoreth said stiffly. Resources were limited, and calculations indicated that Earth could not be saved with the available means. And yet here we stand, Jiwoo replied. Not only did we survive, but we have thrived. We have colonies on multiple worlds. We have technology that matches or exceeds your own, and we have a fleet of ships outside this station that could reduce it to dust. The chamber erupted in angry shouts. Zoreth raised his hand for silence. Is this a declaration of war, Commander? He asked quietly. Jiwoo shook his head. No. If we wanted war, we wouldn't be talking. We would have acted. He nodded to Chief Science Officer Min Park, who activated a holographic display. It showed schematics for new technologies, defensive shields, energy systems, and agricultural methods. We come with an offer, Jiwoo continued. A new alliance, not the false one you offered before, but a real partnership. Why should we trust you? Asked a Draconian representative. You clearly developed military technology in secret. Because we had to, answered Ambassador Su Yun, stepping forward. You abandoned us without a second thought. We had to ensure it would never happen again. Our offer is simple, Jiwoo said. We join the Council as equals. We share these technologies with all peaceful worlds. In return, you acknowledge the debt owed to humanity and help us rebuild what was lost in the asteroid strikes. And if we refuse? Asked Zoreth. Jiwoo's expression remained calm. Then we leave peacefully today, but know that Earth will continue to grow stronger. We will form our own alliances with willing species, and the next time we meet may not be as friendly. The Council went into a closed session to discuss the offer. Jiwoo and his team waited in an anteroom guarded by nervous galactic security. Officers, they're scared, noted Security Director Bei. They should be. Fear isn't what we want, Jiwoo reminded him. Respect is. After 2 hours, they were called back to the chamber. The mood had changed. Many of the representatives looked resigned. A few even looked supportive. The Council has voted, Zoreth announced. We accept your offer of alliance with conditions to be negotiated. Jiwoo nodded. Excellent. And there is one more thing. He turned to look at specific representatives in the chamber. The Pleiadians and Centaurians voted against abandoning Earth 7 years ago. They showed wisdom and compassion. They will receive special trade status with Earth, effective immediately. There were surprised looks among the aliens. Jiwoo continued. We also know which representatives pushed hardest for our abandonment. His eyes fixed on the Draconian section. They will face trade sanctions from Earth for the next 7 years, 1 year for each that we struggled alone. You cannot dictate terms like this, protested the Draconian ambassador. We just did, Jiwoo replied simply. Later, as the formal agreements were being prepared, Jiwoo stood in the Council Station's garden area with Ambassador Su Yun. Through the clear dome above, they could see their fleet of ships, still in formation. They thought they were ending our story, Su said softly. When they voted to leave us to die. Jiwoo nodded. Instead, they forced us to become stronger than we ever would have been otherwise. He looked out at the stars, thinking of Earth and how far they had come, from the brink of extinction to standing as equals with the most powerful species in the galaxy. All because the Council had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity's greatest strength, the ability to face impossible odds and not just survive, but emerge stronger than before. The Council learned an important lesson today, Jiwoo said. Never abandon those who might one day return.